Perfect. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon. You guys know me already. I'm Alex. I'm the host on Phoenix Holdings, and we have MetaCars project with us today, and its representative Adam, which we all know from previous projects. Adam, give us a couple of words about yourself. We're gonna skip the how did you get into crypto, unless you wanna reflect in our memories.
No, no, I'll spare everyone that. Just thank you for the introduction, Alex. So happy to be here again. I'm excited to be the voice chat representative for MetaCars today, an Ethereum-based project that is looking to bring the metaverse to life with these unique NFT cars and some GameFi elements. So excited to talk about the team and go into the project.
Awesome. Let me make a quick note here because I will actually, you know what? Let me ask it from the beginning before we dive into the who's the team, what their experience is, so on and so forth. You mentioned from the start this is a Ethereum-based project. You already have my attention, and I'm sure most of us are super hyped. Why did you or why did the team decide to go on Ethereum and not BSC?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. I've been talking with the team, specifically Matthew, who has been talking with me, their marketing guy, but also Alan as well. Their main vision was to essentially bring the NFT side of it really to life on the Ethereum chain, which we all know the Ethereum side is really big when it comes to NFTs still. So they wanted the exposure there, but also something that comes to mind for me at least, and I'm sure quite a few people is, well, doesn't Ethereum still have really high gas fees? I know it's not $200 anymore, or 150, but still like $30 a transaction. Well, here's what's cool is the token tax on this project is only 1% in. The sell tax is higher, but it's only 1% in. You, of course, have to pay the gas fees to transact and get in. But after that, all of the GameFi elements here are going to be nested within their own ecosystem. So every time you want to do a race, every time you want to customize your character, get these power-ups, all that sort of stuff that we're going to be talking about, you don't have to interact with the blockchain. The only thing that's recorded is the winners each week that go on the leaderboard, and then also the conversion from the meta points that you can get in the game over to the MetaCars native token. So that's the cool thing is you're not going to be hit with a bunch of fees because that comes up first in mind. Like, oh my gosh, there's going to be a bunch of fees. There's not going to be a bunch of fees. You're only, really transacting on the Ethereum blockchain in a kind of a limited way, but in an important way when it comes to documenting those winners each week, which we'll talk about, and then also actually getting onto owning the native token, MetaCars. So that's kind of why, mainly exposure, but also because they wanted to be a serious project. They want to actually have something that they can showcase that's playable as soon as tomorrow. Even they're going to be opening the beta. So they wanted to make sure that they're serious about this project. They want to showcase that they're serious about it and stand out on a different blockchain that you would maybe normally find this type of project, like on BSC or sorts. But because such a key part of this project is NFTs, they want to make sure they get as much exposure as possible.
Definitely. And to be fairly honest, I think, and I'll restate what I said in the beginning. You have my attention. Strictly due to the fact that when it comes to NFTs, and I mean, Solana is not what it used to be. The developers are investigating. They're actually looking into making it bigger. But yeah, I mean, I ideally I would say it's the best way to go on an NFT perspective, and on a long term project because unfortunately at the moment BSC it isn't what it used to be. Hopefully, it will revive itself. We'll see. But yeah, enough with the why did you guys choose Ethereum? Because I think it's great personally. So give us a bit more about the team itself. Who are they? You know, in a couple of words, and what is their past experience? As in, have they had any projects in the past, or this would be their first one?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll speak a little bit about the team right here. So it's comprised of four individuals here. We have Alan, he's the CEO and founder. We have Matthew, DocFix, he's the lead game dev and token dev, and then the artist Jesse. So starting with Alan, he's like I said, the CEO. he's had just a huge interest in gaming and movies pretty much since the start, since he's been growing up. He got introduced to crypto actually from GameFi and kind of learning about the convergence of GameFi and gaming, and that's really where kind of just opened up to him. And he's like, okay, I want to do something here. And what he said is, okay, I want to create a team that that can make this project happen based on my past experience. So he's always had those passions. He put it to work in other projects, but now he's actually taking the same team that he's known for years now. I think it's been like 4 years or so. And he's saying, how can we actually take that experience that we've learned over the course of years, bring it into something that is recognizable, something that's fun, engaging, and is going to have some really, interesting GameFi elements. How can we bring that to life and have it be, more importantly, something that people want to play? There are so many GameFi games out there. Most of them, being frank, suck. They're not fun. Even if it has the best marketing ever, you have to make a game that's fun. If you don't make a game that's fun, nobody wants to play, and it collapses everything. So first and foremost, making a game that's fun to play, making it silly and almost on the verge of ridiculous in the form of these custom NFTs, and bringing them to life. That's kind of what Alan wanted to do. So he created his group here, comprised of Matthew, who is the marketing guy, who's been doing a lot of work within the gaming and mobile field in his regular day job. DocFix, who has been working on game development and design for like 20 plus years. He's new to crypto, but he is very much already putting his skills into it, based on the beta that they're already going to have available as of tomorrow, and all the testing that's been happening in the background. And then Jesse, he's the NFT artist mainly, and also consulting on the actual game design to make sure that things look the way they're supposed to, and kind of big picture. But he's had a lot of experience, and actually in the real world too, he's had his content be featured in music videos, TV shows, and film. This is a anonymous project, so what I always like to see is, first of all, that they have audits, which they actually have their solid proof audit in process. They have an audit with Pink Sale. We also audited them as well, me and my partner that helps with marketing. So even though I'm not part of the team, I'm just representing them. When they came to us and they said, hey, we're interested, we want someone to actually speak on behalf of the project like a professional company would. Can you do this? I said, well, maybe. Let me look at the project. Okay, project looks kind of fun. I have a few questions, but let's look at it. And then also let's jump on a voice chat. Let's jump on a voice chat. Let me actually see you. Let me see that you're a real person, that if something were to go bad, I'm able to have that security to be able to tell everyone after, like, hey, this is all their information, so on and so forth, just like a KYC auditing service would be. So they were definitely open to do that. Which was great. But to answer your question, do they know each other? Yes, they've been working together for at least 4 years now, from what they told me. And they are looking to become, more visible as things progress. They want the project to be successful first. They really want things to work well, and that's why they've invested so much time in actually doing the game development so early. I thought it was going to take longer, but it actually happened pretty early. And that's why they're excited to be able to share a demo of that. It's just, like an alpha demo, but still a demo tomorrow, which coincides with their launch on Pink Sale, their initial pre-sale that's at a discount. So that's a little bit about the team. I went off on a little tangent, but that's kind of how they know each other, what their experience is, and how they're looking to bring all of that together into doing this project.
Splendid. Well, just to make sure that I'm understanding this, and pretty much to summarize what we spoke about right now, you got 4 core team members. They know each other. They have experience, and basically they know what they're doing, and they chose Ethereum as their go-to blockchain. This is pretty much for the newcomers. This is what we spoke about right now, and what I like as a, let's say, as a first impression, the white paper, the website, it's clean. They're not trying to oversell the project. They're not trying to overdo it. It's clean. It has strictly the information that you as a potential investor would be interested in, or should be interested in, I should say. And that's pretty much it. You got a couple of pictures, which I assume are representing the NFTs. That's pretty much it. I mean, nothing goes to, how should I put this? to try and oversell the project and figure if they're kind of complicating things right now, what would happen in the future with the project once they hit their first road bumps. So yeah, congrats to the team. You can pass this along to them, Adam, if you want. So far, I'm loving it. I'm loving what I see. It's a question that I typically ask because, and I don't know if you have the answer right now, or maybe you can, let's say you can talk from perspective. Was this as an inspiration taken from the Cars movie itself? Does it have any correlation to that, maybe in terms of let's say graphic design, maybe for the NFTs?
So what I can say is this: not only was it inspiration, it was definitely probably a driving factor, no pun intended. So this is V1 of the website. The reason why I put emphasis on V1 is a couple things jump out. You don't have to be super smart to kind of see this, although everyone here obviously is, but this is something that jumps out. This is clearly Lightning McQueen, and this is clearly taken from Cars. So is this and this and a few things, right? These are not. These are not. And of course, these are not. So the reason why I make mention of that is because this is V1. They wanted to put all of their emphasis in their artists creating content to go towards the NFTs. Everything else comes secondary or tertiary. When they actually launch their V2 of the website, you're going to see images, background, banners, all that. It's going to be themed around the NFTs and what they actually look like inside of the game. So right now, yes, 100%. Not only is it inspired, but they're even pulling images from Cars, but that's not sustainable. Obviously, if they become super successful, which they're planning to do, and they have the infrastructure to do so, you can't rely on that because you're going to get a cease and desist from Disney pretty quick. So someone knows someone who works at Disney. They have eyes on it. Disney's everywhere. It's just not a good look. So instead, what they're looking to do is, even if they were to get a cease and desist, doesn't matter. They just tell them, pull down the site. Okay, well, we're coming out with our V2 anyways. That's okay. So here's the cool thing: is they've already worked with a lawyer. And they said, look, as long as you're using your NFTs as your main money-making means, and if you're then creating a website based on those NFTs as the main type of things, it's okay if it's based off inspiration. That's fine. As long as it doesn't use those trademark themes or anything like that, it's totally fine. But in its current version, yeah, it is themed off that, just because they don't have the content yet to be able to use for those banners. They're actually looking for actual gameplay. They're looking for users to have fun and then to get snippets and high resolution photos from the game, pull those over, and now you have actual shots from the game as your background. So expect that to come. It's one of those things, like, they could have thrown something together, right, using the NFTs, but it just wouldn't look very good. So why not take something that's identifiable already? Cars, everyone's seen. It's been part of everyone's childhood in some capacity, whether it was Cars 1, 2, or whatever, right? But it's fun. It's something that we all enjoyed. And now, what better than to play a game that's inspired by that legacy, but now takes it to another level in the sense that I can actually win money on my races. So it comes into its own identity, but later. Right now, it's very much linked unofficially, and then it comes into its own identity once those NFTs come to life.
Okay, it only makes sense. I mean, for me, and I think I speak for the majority here. It's not even a problem. I was just curious if I got it right or not.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, just to add a bit on what you said, if they do get big enough, for sure they might have the infrastructure and the long-term plan, and hopefully the market conditions as well. But if they do get big enough, um, let's say not only that someone knows someone that works at Disney, Disney will know someone at Disney that needs this to be taken down because they want a piece of it. That's basically how it works with conglomerates and you know
Mm-hmm.
monopolies. It is what it is. Not that, of course, not that Disney had the only unique idea for Cars. They were just the ones that I think they put it in perspective.
Exactly.
But,
Yeah, I mean, you can't trademark the name Cars. You can't trademark Lightning. You can't trademark talking cars, right? But when you take something specifically from them and then use it, then yeah, of course, they can tell you a cease and desist. But they're not gonna. It's decentralized. You're not gonna be able to shut it down. You're not gonna be able to remove a Uniswap listing or something. So it's one of those things that they have all of that set to be able to deploy. It's just they want more reference material from actual in-game play to be able to update their website. So I just dwell on this for so long because it's something that came to my mind as an investor. And when I'm speaking, even though they paid me, right? Like, of course, let's be honest here, right? They paid me to speak about them. But just from an investor standpoint, the whole reason why we're talking about this is if I'm an investor, I should be asking and I should be answering from you the real questions that investors want to know, and that's what's so cool about this. So I just wanted to get ahead of it and be able to speak to the fact that it's not something they're hoping doesn't happen. It's something that they're addressing head on, and that they want to be able to actually come into their own identity with a website that's really them. So that's the cool thing. Another thing too I wanted to mention is when it comes to brand identity, their metaverse is completely them. So from the ground up, they built that. It's ready to go. They're even going to have it in beta, tomorrow, sorry, I should say alpha, to actually test out. You will need to own at least $50 equivalent of the underlying token, the MetaCars token, to be able to participate. But then you can try it out. You can see for yourself, like it. They're going to start spinning up those actual games later on with weekly winners, with a prize pool that's only raising every single week. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah, I just wanted to speak about like theming and brand identity is so important, and I know that because I've been doing marketing for quite a long time in crypto, so that's vital. So when I see a project that isn't like maybe a meme token that's stealing a name from something and they still blow up even though they stole a name from something, I like to see a project that knows like, look, we're probably going to blow up anyways from this, and that's cool, but in the long term, it's not sustainable. We have to have a way to be able to pivot and do it in a way that is going to let us build our own identity. So that gets me excited when I see a project taking that serious, because I know that's the only way to kind of be sustainable in the long term.
Sure, for sure. Building your own brand, your own image, or strictly on an idea that's out there. Let's face it, Adam. And with this comment, I'll move to the other to the other questions. What is the unique at the moment? Because whatever you see developed, I mean, of course, we're not talking about Elon Musk and it's Tesla, but whatever you see developed out there, someone in the past, like maybe 100, maybe 500 years ago, someone had that idea. So yeah, I mean, are we gonna sue that person for doing that? No. That's not how business works. But yeah, going to before we dive in strictly into the project and its utilities, because I actually saw you scrolling through the roadmap, which I think it's kind of cool with its phase one, phase two being placed into race one, race two. Where would you say the project is right now? I would only assume it's incipient stage, so we're at the beginning of the race. And eventually, can you say that? I mean, is it the plan of the team for race one to end within the next a week or two, maybe, or are they planning to develop more and then eventually go on to race two, which is going to be a couple of months and so on and so forth? How would you split just race one transition towards race two for now?
Definitely. Well, good question, because race one, race two, three, four, all the way through 10, which there's not, but just as an example, it's kind of arbitrary. What does that actually mean? So where are we right now? Right now, we're definitely in race one. We're about halfway through that race, maybe in the third lap, let's say, right? So what I mean by that is we're born already on the Ethereum chain, of course. V1 of the websites, here it is, we're on it. Pre-sale starting tomorrow, which by the way, I have that up as well. Pre-sales in less than 24 hours now. This still needs to happen. This still needs to happen. This is done. So what do we have left in the first race, I should say? Well, a burning of 29%, almost 30% of tokens immediately after launch. A massive token burn, speaking truth to their hyperdeflationary token system, and then also 1/3 of Ethereum raised in pre-sale. So they're saying if they hit their soft cap, boom, ready to go. They're going to use 1/3 of that for marketing and exchange listing. So here's what's cool. I wanted to pop over here just real quick to kind of speak to some of the changes that Pink Sale has done when it comes to these launches. So for fair launches explicitly, but also for pre-sales, I believe they recommend recommend it. I don't know if it's necessarily like enforced, like you have to, but I know for pre-sales it is. But either way, they say you have to at least put 50% of liquidity. These guys said, let's put 60. Let's put more liquidity. So that's less profit for them once they pass that soft cap. But here's the cool thing is they're not taking that profit anyways. 60% is going to liquidity. The other 40% is going right into marketing. It's not enough to just have a successful launch and to have, have yourself hit soft cap and potentially even hard cap, but you need to also be able to market after. That's one of the biggest concerns that always comes up in AMAs, rightfully so, is cool, we're here, we're talking to an awesome group. I see you have banner ads up, so on and so on, influencers, all that good stuff. Great. What about after? And there's usually like a little bit of a pause and, oh, we're still going to do banners. We're still, yeah, that's great. Where's the money though? Where's the money coming from? Well, here's the money. It's going to be in Ethereum because that's what the raise is in, with minimum being 0.025 and then max being 3. Well, they're going to be able to take 40% of that and dump it right back into marketing. Keep in mind, they also are going to have their alpha releasing tomorrow. With that alpha releasing, I mean, there's so much content to market. You take a 5-second clip of that, throw it on a nice banner, or throw it on, like a call channel, let's say, or even an AMA, let's say. I mean, that's proof. That's something I can see. It's tangible. I want to figure out what this is all about because that's really cool. And now more people are joining in. There's bigger buy pressure, but that's all speculative. But I like to speak about that because I think it's important when we look at the overall kind of mechanics of how they want this to work. So you can see initial marketing exchange. They say 1/3. They're actually using more. I mean, they're using actually, no, I'm sorry, 60%. That would be 1/3. So that's correct. So you can see for marketing, a little bit for a war chest for exchange listings so they can get some exchanges going to when they need. So to answer your question, the big things that still need to happen in race 1 is the burn, which is happening right after launch, which, by the way, is happening like 2 hours or so, a little less than 2 hours, maybe a little more, right after Uniswap. Right after Pink Sale finishes, once the final day happens there, because running for 2 days, once that's done, they're going to launch a couple hours after right on Uniswap. So again, these are the last 2 things that need to be done. And then, of course, there's more on the roadmap as well.
For sure, for sure. Ideally, I personally didn't want to go into, let's see, race 2, race 3, race 4, because we're gonna start off with the current stage of the product. Surely, at some point, they will develop eventually even more. But yeah, I mean, everybody do your own research on the project. You have the material. Everything is listed on our group as well, so you guys can follow up actually as we speak about them. That's personally what I do. That's how I get many of the comments, because I'm trying to follow as we speak about each and every one of the aspects. In terms of roadmap, I think it's pretty clear right now that the project is still at an incipient stage right now. So many things to happen, so many things to be developed, which is cool. I mean, personally, I always love it when an early stage project comes and says, listen, this is what we plan to do. We're not even launched. Still 1 day until the pre-sale. So, I mean, it's as early as you can get. Going to the pre-sale, if you happen to know, of course, I'm going to pull up the pre-sale in a couple of seconds on my screen as well. But has there been any other rounds, like a private or maybe a seed round or an angel round of some sort for this token? Any funds raised before the pre-sale?
Oh man, I was very surprised when I got the answer from the team on this, but no. So for a project like this, I honestly expected there to be a whitelist or some angel investors, something like that. Surprisingly, no, which is so cool. The reason why that's great is usually when there's a whitelist, usually when there's some type of super great like smaller sale at a great discount, unless there's a great linear unlock, those tokens dump, it's a mess, and now everyone's complaining at launch, which they should be, of why did we fall below sale price? Why did we fall even below pre-sale price? It's super negative. So instead what they said is, look, we're gonna give you a decent discount, but it's gonna be right now happening in less than a day. That is gonna be hosted on Pink Sale. Why is it hosted on Pink Sale? It is one of the most reputable launch pads, right? of anything, and they're not just on the Binance Smart Chain. They launch Ethereum-based projects. I think even Phantom-based projects. They're multi-chain in many capacities. But the cool thing is it's a trusted third party that is not invested in the project. Meaning that if this project, for whatever reason, does not hit its soft cap, you can go back and claim your contributions. Now, do they plan on that happening? Of course not, right? They're dumping a lot of money into marketing, and you saw the distribution for how they're actually going to be putting marketing funds in post to be able to continue the word of mouth campaign and also influencers and all of that. So that's the cool thing is they have marketing in multiple different angles, and yeah, just know that there is a discount, but the discount's right now. It's not a discount you missed out on. If you're hearing this right now, or even if you're listening to the recording after, you found it very early. Hopefully you find it before the sale opens tomorrow. But even if you don't, it'll probably take, I mean, it might fill real quick, but realistically, since it's an Ethereum-based project, a lot of people aren't necessarily used to that. So they're going to be like, oh, maybe this is my first Ethereum-based project I'm getting into. Okay, let me get some ETH. Great, I got this ready. Let me go to the official page to contribute, and now I'm ready to go. So to answer your question, yeah, there is a discount. It's 10%. If I sell right on launch, here's the incentive for people from pre-sale not selling. If you sell right on launch, you're in an instant loss. What I mean by that is there's a 12% sell tax, which we'll get into. That 12% sell tax directly feeds into automatic buybacks that actually help the token in the long term and even in the short term if there's enough volume. But to buy in, there's only 1%, only a 1% fee. So that's the cool thing, is very small minimal fee in, larger fee out. But that larger fee out is contributing to the project pretty considerably. So, anyways, that was a long form answer to your question, but just wanted to get in a little bit more into it.
And yet, you actually thanks for the long comment. You know how we do things. I try to make a comment and I digress into another topic. You answer and we digress into another one, and that's how we make the conversation and the flow. Um, you actually started off with the selling taxes, with the buy and sell taxes. So give us a bit about, before I want to actually see the pre-sale afterwards, if you can share on the screen. But before that, can we talk a bit about the tokenomics and how you guys, how the team actually thought about dividing the total supply, what's going to be the taxes and so on and so forth?
Sure, I'd love to. So I'll go into the token taxes first because it might be a little complex for someone seeing it at first, but it's really pretty simple once we break it down. So buying is 1%. That 1% goes to our little friend called Guido. Guido, to my knowledge, if I remember it correctly, I could be wrong. Someone correct me if I am. I think is that little car, the little Italian car that fixes up the other cars with the little screwdriver thing. Like he's one of those race pit cars. I think that's his name from Cars. I'm pretty sure. But anyways, 1% goes to him. It's not actually a person, but it's like the name of that part of the contract. So 1% goes to that part of the contract. What that is that's included whether it's a buy or a sell. 1% is always going there. What that is it's a manual buy function that the team can summon whenever needed. What I mean by that is, let's say there's a drop in token price. Maybe there's some market fluctuations, BTC drops 10, 15%, whatever it might be. Well, the team can say, look, let's activate Guido. Let's get a screwdriver in play. Let's get the torque wrench, the whole thing, and let's boost up the price. So what I mean by that is any of the money in there, they can initiate and then flood into buys. Or they can say, let's take 10%, let's take 20%, throw it into buys, and now we're helping out the chart. Here's the cool thing is the project will never, ever mention when it's going to happen. The chart could go flat for a while. There could be a lot of sells, maybe. There's, market fluctuations, whatever might happen. There could be a lot of buys, in fact. And the team will decide when it is best to do those buybacks. Cool thing is when it comes to security, that contract, which was audited by TechRate, by the way, we'll get into the audits later, but that can only do buys. It cannot do sells. So all of the tokens from every buy and sell, 1%, it's all going there, and it's going to be able to be manually initiated by the team whenever they see fit. That's so cool because it's really helping to boost up the project when they need. We'll go into the actual sell tax now too. So kind of funny. There's a 2% tax. They call it a farming tax. Like a fun play on what farming means to them. So traditionally we think farming, I stake in a token, I get a passive return back. That's kind of what it is, right? Well, they're saying this 2% quote unquote farming is actually farming from those that might have paper hands or might be selling, right? So what do we mean we're farming from them? Well, they're actually taking 1% from that going into liquidity and 1% going to marketing. So that 2% farming is split up into 1% marketing and 1% liquidity add. Going into the other percentages, 3% is auto buyback. If you thought that manual buyback was already cool, there's an automatic one also. So there's a dual-headed buyback approach that this project's taking. So automatically, if someone sells, boom, there's an instant 3% buyback. Whatever they sold, 3% is automatically going right back in as far as buys, which is cool. Also, 3% is also going into marketing. So total, you have 4% marketing now, 1 from that farming, and then 3 from the actual marketing section of that. And then 3% is going to a liquidity pool ad, so LP ad, auto LP. And like we had spoken about, 1% going to our friend Guido to do those manual buybacks. So what I love is this is a little complex. I'll be quite honest, a little complex when it comes to token taxes. But when you realize it's as simple as this, 1% buy, 12% tax, set your slippage a little higher, especially if there's higher volume, and especially on an Ethereum chain. There might be a lot of eyes on this if they market it properly, which they're doing a pretty dang good job so far. That's kind of how that breaks down. The different piece being here, because we're very used to automatic reflections, maybe even auto buybacks in some tokens, but this special part of the contract where these tokens are going to that 1%, that Guido piece, I love saying that too, that Guido piece, they're actually able to manually turn on the on switch to, and they can say exactly how much buyback they want to do from what that wallet holds. And again, all of this, including, by the way, the metaverse that they're building out, and the tokens and all of that stuff integrating in with it, they've all been audited by TechRate as well. So it's not complex, but in a sense, it's worth talking about, I should say.
Definitely another piece of information that I'm happy to learn about the project and about the idea. Surely I'll say that it's a bit complex for sure, different than what we're used to seeing. The reason why I'm saying that is because in the end, the project itself, the MetaCars project, is actually a hyper deflationary token, but correct me if I'm wrong, it's a play to earn game as a core concept. So the tokenomics in general are not so in depth thought. No how should I say, no disrespect to anybody, I'm not fighting other projects, but typically when it comes to game releases, you got your average, I don't know, maybe 10 to 15% split into marketing, dev wallet, team tokens, rewards, staking, whatever. That's pretty much it. But there are no extra layers that you can rely on, such as the ones that we just heard from yourself. So yeah, it's definitely different. It's a thinking outside of the box tokenomics from my perspective. I was looking at the pre-sale itself. 100 Ethereum as a soft cap, 200 as a hard cap. I mean, sure, people might say, yeah, but it's Ethereum. So in theory, you guys would be looking at, let's evaluate Ethereum at 3K just to be on the safe side. That's $600,000 that you guys would be willing to raise as a maximum. Initial market cap $1 million. Now that's huge as in super low compared to what you guys are raising. So I don't know. I mean, how did you guys how did the team thought about the initial market cap, because it gives so much room to grow, especially since it's Ethereum. So the reason that I want to point this out, that it's not the same as BSC. On BSC, when you see 1 million market cap, that's high. It's super high. On Ethereum, 1 million is super low because the transaction volume there it's a different space, man. So people are not trading like on BSC because I mean at a super hyped hour, it still costs you like 50 or $60 per transaction. So you can only imagine people are not going to trade $100 just to end up paying $60 in taxes. So a million is quite low as an initial market cap for Ethereum. It makes me happy to see it, but is there any particular reason why just a million, or that's basically how the tokenomics are, governated?
Well, Alex, I mean, you hit on the key pieces, right? I think a lot of us are used to, I don't want to say like degen plays, but for lack of a better term, degen plays where a million market cap is insane, right? We want something that's a micro cap, maybe a nano cap or something, right? But instead, when you can get something that understands the chain in which it's on and still gives a lot of room for growth, that's why it's set at that. And again, keep in mind, we talked about 60% is going to liquidity, 40% is going to marketing. So it's not just going to be the initial hype, it's going to be the afterburn. It's going to be that excitement that's generated after the fact, from the project actually doing marketing. So that really excited me because, like you had said, like if you catch some steam, if you catch some excitement, then volume's no problem, right? A million's no problem. It'll jump up from there if you have a quality project. So what they really have going for them is they wanted to keep it at a lower relative market cap, given this is a different type of chain, different type of project, a lower relative market cap, but then they also want to have proof behind their concept. That's why they're opening up that alpha of the actual game tomorrow, which is so cool. They're opening up that alpha tomorrow. They also have a large amount of money that they're going to be using, team told me, pretty much in full, right for that after launch, because we always know whether people understand that if they sell for 12 at a 12% tax, they're going to be losing money. People will still do it because we're kind of like, fortunately, it's just kind of that sort of psychology in this space. It's unfortunate, but it's kind of like that. On the Ethereum chain, less so. That's another reason why they selected the Ethereum chain, because it's a little bit more like serious investors. Not that the Binance Smart Chain is not serious. I have a ton of money locked up in there, not a ton, but enough money to be worried about it if it went missing. And I consider myself a serious investor, but also I know that like I move my Ethereum bags much less, because if I find a project I like, I buy it and I hold it. And I usually hold it until I decide, you know what, there's another outsized opportunity somewhere else, and I go there. So when they can deliver utility and show how it's actually working as soon as possible, people love that, because we've all been burned on any chain. We've all been burned by rugs. We've all been burned by teams promising the moon and back and then delivering not even, sand, right? So it's cool when they actually say like, look, like we're going to deliver something tomorrow, sooner than expected, to at least show you guys what an alpha of this project looks like, to actually show you how you could interact with this game and race. And then we're going to bring in the other elements to bring it into its full form, where you can actually merge your NFTs into the game. You can actually see their custom representations and all the amazing artwork that was done by the team per car. So just know that it's going to evolve as more people come in as well. But the big thing being having the proof to show the entire community of what they've done.
Definitely. And one thing that I would like, because you kind of made a great point there. All my comments were pretty much mentioned already by you. One more thing that I wanna put into perspective before we go into what I think it's the most interesting interesting questions that projects have or receive, actually. Um, the marketing question, of course. The thing with Ethereum and Ethereum as a blockchain and as a pre-sale perspective, is that projects don't really need the hard cap filled. Surely it makes it even better. But if this project, and this is more towards the community, you Adam can correct me if I'm wrong, this project can easily launch just on soft cap and pull off huge numbers. That's how much Ethereum has an impact on its project. Surely the 200 Ethereum is a well thought, let's say, budget perspective, which will definitely allow the team to have the roadmap progression exactly as they intend to. But easily, due to the investors that are there on Ethereum, they could easily pull, and I'm realistic here, a 5 to 10x on launch, strictly just based on the soft cap. There was one project a couple of months ago that launched. They barely filled their soft cap. I don't want to name it, and I won't, but it did 56x over the course of 1 month.
Wow.
And they barely filled. That's what happens on Ethereum. The problem, not the problem. The difference between Ethereum and other chains is that, as you said, Adam, people don't tend to sell if something better comes along. Like, how much profit do I have here? I have $200. Okay, I'm gonna sell $200, get $200, and invest it into Meta Planes, for example. That doesn't work, because if you want to sell MetaCars for $200, you get 150. 50 is tax. You want to invest in Meta Planes, for example, 150, you get 100. Not to mention, maybe they have 15% buying tax. So that taken into account, it's not feasible for you to move from one project to the other. That's already a statement that's going to guarantee a long-term perspective for MetaCars. This was mostly not for you, Adam, because I'm sure you already know, mostly for the community out there. That's why I'm super hyped to know that the team is actually moving on to Ethereum. Not that I don't love BSC, but whole different perspective. That's all that I'm saying. So I'm pretty
100%.
sure you were waiting for this question, Adam. What should we know in terms of marketing aside for what we already discussed? Let's start from the premise: a third of the Ethereum raised in the pre-sale will be used for initial marketing. Now, of course, we're not looking towards a traditional marketing, via emails and something like that. We're looking into a more updated marketing strategy. But how did the team figure? What would the initial marketing mean? As much as you can disclose, of course, it's up to you right now.
Yeah, so a couple different things. Of course, we have the standard, you know, find the high quality AMA groups, find the ones where there's an active amount of people talking about projects, even when projects aren't being, brought up. Look for like, an active community. So that's why we're here. That's why we're talking, not just because you're an awesome host, but because I like talking here and you guys come up with good questions, and that translates into investments if the project actually has something worth investing in, which is what they're trying to do here. Outside of that, some other things you would expect, but you want to see, but that costs a lot of money. So calls from, very reputable influencers, tweets from them as well. We already talked about AMAs, ads in the sense of, Dex tools, PooCoin, things like that. By the way, some of those require KYC as well, so you kind of have layered KYC and security, which can also be marketed. And then also trending. So here's something cool: is if this project takes off and it fills quick, even the soft cap, if it fills quick, it can easily trend on Pink Sale, by the way. That's the cool thing, is it can easily trend on Pink Sale, especially because there's not as many Ethereum-based projects that launch there. So it can get a lot of eyes on it, which is great. And then after that, expect kind of the same thing, but they actually want to start bringing in utility into the marketing. What do I mean by that? Well, by owning these NFTs, right, you're going to be eligible to be able to participate in what they call car meets, which is kind of what you would expect if you're hanging out with some buddies and kind of talking about cars, right? Except this is going to be your NFT cars that you're showcasing. So what you're going to be able to do is, if you're a top 20 holder, you're going to be invited to exclusive events around the globe. They're going to have some virtual ones as well, but the real fun happens in person. And you're going to get exclusive merch. You're going to get exclusive prizes, food, the whole thing. And it's going to be a celebration of this community, just like a car meet would be, where you get to show off, your cars. You get to like kind of talk about the wins that you had. They're going to have the scoreboard up, talking about everything. And it's going to be a little perk for being a top 20 holder. So again, how do you become a top 20 holder? Well, hopefully you get in early, or you get in at a nice dip when it feels right, and then maybe you're able to hold enough tokens. So that is going to be something that's going to be heavily marketed as well. It'll be something that these influencers, when they do calls on the channels, on their channels of this project, that's going to be a great update message. I mean, think about it. Like, oh my gosh, they're holding their first car meet. Here's a live video of them doing it. The other thing too is they actually want to donate to charities, and they want to do some cool things that you would normally only see in the real world. If you guys have ever seen that show Pimp My Ride, which is kind of fun, where they take a normal car and then like pimp it out and look super cool with like screens inside and hydraulics and all this crazy stuff. They also want to do events like that for top holders and then live stream that and kind of showcase it. But the cool thing is when we're talking about charity, this one gets me more excited because it's actually giving back to people that wouldn't expect it, is donating cars to people that actually need it. Someone that this would be life changing to get $1,000 car that, is whatever, a 5,000, a little bit nicer, maybe $5,000, $10,000 car. And that makes their whole life. And guess what? It's sponsored by MetaCars. Maybe you can have like a little logo on the side, some different things. There's so much that they can explore with this and really do good and have fun. And that is all marketing. It's all marketing layered and layered and layered. And it builds community sentiment, so much so that actually in the roadmap, they're looking to expand the community into Discord. Right now it's Telegram focus. If you join, you'll be greeted by a Telegram community. They're really good at answering questions and kind of, getting all the info out there, but they eventually want to expand to Discord. What does Discord let you do? It lets you do multi-language in one central place. You're not having to go to different channels necessarily like Telegram would have. You're also able to put the leaderboards in there, have AMAs in there, the whole thing, and it's very organized. So they're looking to migrate there eventually. Maybe they can even do custom rooms that are only able to be unlocked if you connect your wallet and you're like a provable holder and maybe a top 20 holder. There's a lot of cool flexibility there that Discord gives. But for the time being, it's really going to be focused on traditional marketing and then pivoting into some of that, but more so let's have it be focused on utility, because that's really honestly what gets people excited. I don't really necessarily care if you dump a lot of money into traditional marketing. That's cool, and it can have a great effect if the project has a lot of proof behind it. But why not have the utility be the main focus and then market around that? So it's just kind of like a change in the way you're positioning things. So that's definitely what they want to bring. They're also going to add more to it as well as they progress and kind of see places that they want to improve or add in a bit more. But that's kind of high level what they want to do with marketing.
Interesting. The way you started was actually one comment that I wanted to make. The fact that by itself they will be trending. It just so happens that the token that I've mentioned before has been trending, I think, at number one. Actually, I'll say top three to make it harder. Like forever since they launched, they've been there. But I mean, of course, I'm not talking about it as it's the best token on Ethereum, because you don't see a lot of tokens like that. That's basically what MetaCars, I think it's gonna do. Just a bit of push after the launch, and the push will probably come from the 29% burn, combined with your marketing, combined with your usual listing, the CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, so on and so forth. Which I know it's entitled into race 2 as a phase 2 from the roadmap. But yeah, I mean, if it comes faster, even better. I think it's gonna boost it by itself, basically. So quite the plan in terms of marketing. Let me know before we take any questions from the community. Did we maybe fail to mention anything between you and I? And should we expect it from the community, or do you want to make any additional, let's say, comments that I mentioned? Did I forget to mention anything?
Well, I wanted to say there's a lot here, right? There's a lot in form of utility that this project wants to bring. I just wanted to make one little mention of this to expand it because we talked about it, but I just think it's so cool, and it's literally in the white paper, and you can check it out too for anyone that wants to dive a little bit deeper. But they're going to be doing weekly contests, at least to start, and then they're going to increase prize pool and then have it be, maybe bi-weekly, monthly, so on. But this is going to be paid in MetaCars token, which is the native currency on the Ethereum chain, like we talked about. And starting prize pool is going to be $500. That's for first place. Second gets you 300. Third gets you 200, so on and so on, all the way down through 10th place, which still gets you $15. Pretty cool for just playing a game. By the way, to participate in this, you just have to own $50 equivalent of the token. Once you stake in and unlock your wallet to the actual game, it saves it, and you never have to do anything with that again. You don't have to rebuy another 50. You're in once you initially buy $50. But the thing is that people like to win. And people especially like to win when you actually win money and it can be sent to your wallet and you can claim it right after. So how you can further your chances of winning is later on in development, in the later race phases, you're going to be able to take your custom NFTs, which I'll actually scroll up here so we can actually see a little rotating. There we go. You can take one of these unique 5,000 and 5,000 plus or so, 5,040 custom NFTs that are uniquely generated, all have custom traits. Each one of these is going to have its own little advantage within the PDE game. What I mean by that is, I love this analogy. If you think of Mario Kart, I think we've all played Mario Kart. The last time I think I played it was on shoot, Nintendo 64, I think. I'm dating myself, but it's okay because that game was a blast and we've probably played different versions of it. Anyways, Mario Kart, what's cool about this? Well, if you remember back, even in the newer versions, there's power-ups that randomly drop. Those power-ups can make your friends super pissed off at you because you just threw a blue shell at them and you took them out of first place and now they never want to talk to you again. Probably not that dramatic, but you get the idea. It's going to kind of be the same idea here where there's going to be random power-ups dispersed throughout the actual race in the track, but you're also going to have a little bit of an edge in different ways based on the rarity of your NFT that you're playing with. Now, these NFTs are going to have a base price of $300. There's going to be a Genesis listing pretty much right after the actual token launches. So not only is there going to be the token, but you can buy the token, you can buy the NFTs using the token, or you can buy them independently, of course, too. And then you can use those NFTs in the final version of the game, and it's going to give you a little bit of a boost in the sense that if you're playing, as an example, if you're playing as Bowser in Mario Kart, he's heavy, but no one can push him around. And if you're playing as Toad, he's lightweight, a little bit more agile, but if he gets bumped into by Bowser in this example, he's probably going to go flying, right? Same kind of idea. You're going to have a little bit of an edge in speed, in weight, in different things. And that's going to give you a little bit of an advantage, but not too much. And I'm very happy to say this team is very experienced in how to make games fun, how to make them fair and equitable, and how to make them lasting. Because there is nothing more like deflating than a game that was just built for money and not actually built for fun. Nobody wants to play that, and there's so many failed examples of that. So I just wanted to throw that in, a little bit of an expansion off what we talked about, because I think it's pretty dang cool, is that they do have a focus on gaming first and P2E integration within that.
That's awesome because and the reason why this is awesome, and I want to point this out towards the community, is the fact that you would, by doing this, you would actually, and I think there were so many questions in regards to this. Why should I mint your NFTs? Well, this is probably the main reason. They have unique perks, unique features, unique variables that you can bring within the game. I don't think I remember, but there was a game. Jesus, I was a kid, probably 20 years ago, 25 years ago, something like that, where you would drive remote control cars and pretty much the same variables. You would get unique powers like rockets and flying and super speed and invisibility, stuff like that. So I think this is basically Revolt. Was it Revolt? I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna make me make me pull up a one of those games and start playing. It's gonna be my whole evening.
That was that, like, back then we didn't even have computers. We would pay and go into a room where people had computers, and we would play on those. But yeah, different
Well,
times, my man. Super cool, super cool game. But that's where I come from. I mean, that when you said about powers, and of course Mario Brothers, Mario Kart, sorry, is more relevant to these days. But it took me to 1999. I think it was the release of the game.
I
So
love it.
that's definitely cool. Let's talk a bit. I know we should take some questions, but last thing from my point of view, um, how many NFTs did you mention, and when can we start minting those? Any idea on the price?
Yeah, so a little over 5,000. This is going to be a very, very limited release. Genesis set always being worth usually the most. $300 as a base mint price, of course, going up as more release, as any quality, NFT series usually does. So yeah, these are example numbers, by the way. This is going to be an actual working counter once the NFTs launch. But if we go back to the roadmap, can kind of get an idea here. I scrolled the wrong direction, but let me actually go in the right direction and we can take a peek. So this later on, and we're talking, when we say later on, we mean a couple months. So when we're talking about race 4, this race 4 or this phase 4 isn't coming a year from now like we would traditionally see on a roadmap. We're expecting a couple months. That gives enough time to stabilize the actual game, to do testing, have the community start testing as soon as tomorrow, by the way. Like, there's all sorts of cool stuff that can happen in that meantime while they're getting everything lined up. And then that's when those NFT drops start. So expect that to be in a couple of months. They might surprise and do sooner. They could always do that. But just know this is when they're going to have the initial like kind of announcement, to my understanding. They might go ahead and drop everything here in the next couple of weeks, but I would say at most expect no more than a couple months. Let's say 2 months as a like an end date, I should say. So 2 months, expect not only NFT release in full, but better than that, integration. When NFT drops begin, they're also talking about integration within the actual game. So it's cool to have the NFTs, even better to integrate them in the game and really give them utility.
Exactly. I mean, and as you said, we've seen so many projects, so many games, so many that promised and they ended up not delivering. So yeah, let me know. I see. Wow, I see so many questions and so many hands raised. Let me know if you're okay with us taking a couple of questions from the chat. Maybe is that okay?
Let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, so let's see. Tyler Hemsworth, the Torres brother. Actually, I hope you have the
I was
floor, my
gonna
man.
say, famous.
Hello,
Tyler?
can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay, I already asked my question on the chat, but I will ask it again on mic. So,
Yeah, please
do you think I should save my Ethereum to own your NFTs, or just try to participate on the fair launch, because it's not that much Ethereum amount, I should just own one of them. So I want to know, which do you think will be more valuable for me as an investor, not a gamer?
That's an interesting one. It depends, man, because they feed into each other, right? So the NFTs, I think, would be the long-term play, because those NFTs are going to really start to get a community behind them and people seeking out legendary traits that help them in the game because they want to keep winning every week, these jackpots. I think the long-term play is the NFTs. The short-term play and potentially long-term as well, you could almost take like a basket approach to it, as form like almost like a mini portfolio, is I would say in the short term potentially consider token, because the NFTs aren't going to have full utility and integration until later phases. So I would say for the shorter term, the next couple months, token almost 100%. And then later on, I would maybe shift 50%, maybe even a little more, a little less over to NFTs, because you're going to get some good exposure that way. So, obviously do your own strategy, but just kind of have that percolate a little bit, and then also actually see if this is a game you would even want to play. I know you're not a gamer. That's okay. I barely have any time to game myself. I used to love it, but I just don't have any time anymore. Crypto's too exciting. But what I would do is, even so, play it. The reason why I say that is play it at least once to see, is this something other investors would actually find fun or interesting? Is it clean? Does it have any bugs? What's the deal here? And then use that as a jumping point to then consider rebalancing your portfolio within this project and maybe owning more NFTs versus just the token.
Yeah, awesome, great. The time is really matter for me to play the game, so I will try it 100% if I own NFT. Thank you so much, man. Best of
I'm
luck to
with
your
you, man.
project.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tyler, for the question. That was great. Thanks for the answer as well, Adam. A Venice marketer, you have the floor. Give us your question.
Alex, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm great, man. Thanks.
Okay. Hey Adam, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm cool. How you doing, bro?
Good.
Okay. First of all, I'll say thanks for the great opportunity. Yeah, I do commend you guys for the great presentation because actually I've been listening to this presentation and it's a great one. So I'll say congrats to you, bro. Yeah, I really love the presentation. So I have a question based on the NFTs. Yeah, so my yeah, can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're breaking up a little, but I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay. So my question is based on the NFTs. So I'd like to know.
And I
For me,
think we
I
lost
might have
him.
lost you. But you know what, Venice? Bring that question to the Telegram group. You can talk to the devs. You can talk to the team. They are more than happy to answer that. Sorry, we had a little bit of issues there, but bring that question. It sounded like you had a good one. Bring that question over to the group.
Definitely. Tommy, you are unmuted. Let's see. Hopefully for you, maybe it goes better.
Hi there, am I clean?
Hey, how's it
Hello?
going?
Do you hear me?
Sure can.
Thank you for picking me. So I'm going to my question. I personally don't have a high-spec PC or a good smartphone. So can you tell me what is the minimum device or spec do we need to enjoy the game with at least 60 frames per second?
Oh, well, here's the thing: is it's mainly web-based, so I don't think the majority of the actual gameplay is going to be put burden-wise on the user. It's going to be basically just run on the actual site, or maybe even in the cloud if it needs to kind of have like a higher kind of look to it. So I don't think much. That's something I can ask the team. So let me ask right now because that's a great question. Min requirements to run best at 60 frames per second. That's an excellent question, my man. That would be one that we're probably going to have to get an answer for in the actual Telegram, because I'm assuming the dev will probably have to get involved and kind of give some more insight into it. But I love that question. That's actually really good. If you could do me a favor, because I'll make sure that gets answered in the chat. If you could jump in the chat, and anyone here, by the way, that has any questions, jump into the official MetaCars Telegram that was nicely linked by Alex and the team here, and ask any questions that maybe I don't answer in full or you want a little bit more to them. Ask those and you're going to get a quality answer. So I asked the team right now just in case, but I'm going to have to circle back on that one, my man, because I don't want to just tell you something and then have it not be the minimum requirement. So they'll be able to explain a little bit further on that. But yeah, thank you.
Great, I'm already in the chat. I will ask it in the chat again.
Excellent. Thank you, Tommy. That's a good one too. I appreciate it.
Thanks as well, Tommy. Yeah, it just so happens definitely we will not be able to answer all of the questions. I saw a lot of them in the chat as well. A lot of hands raised. I'm gonna take one more. There you go, familiar face, Jubenga. Let's hear your question. Maybe after that, if it's a short question, I'll take another one from the chat. Let's see, Jubenga, you have the floor.
Oh, brother, thank you so much for the opportunity and the privilege. Adam, thank you for coming to our committee and for the great presentation. I do love that.
Thank you.
I have a question with respect to the project. Sincerely speaking, project like this, I must tell you, for every great project, they should be able to identify some of the challenges they face while developing or while trying to build the community. I would love you if you can share with us the challenges you encounter and how you were able to overcome them with respect to the community and the project development. And secondly, I have an observation with respect to the community growth. I see you are having like 6,000 plus member on the Telegram chat, and you're having just 200 available online, despite you are having an AMA presently, and you'll be having your pre-sale in a couple of hours. That is should be in 20 hours to this time. Then to me, I don't know. Probably the community growth is an organic growth, or the growth is just like both have some percentage on your Telegram group? Because it will tell on the pre-sale when you're having your pre-sale filled for long or stuff like that. So that is where I have a clarification. And lastly, for the NFT, you're having over 500 plus NFT. And for this NFT, you'll be having core values. Now, the NFT relating to the game, we're then gonna be I don't know if you design the NFT in such a way that for the holder of the NFT, while playing the game, you will be able to attain some level on the games, or why probably to change cars, or probably to attain some level. Probably if you reach some miles, you're gonna need NFT. You're gonna hold this NFT before you can reach another mile, so that to make the NFT more utilifying and to make the game more suitable. The game will be boring for investors while playing the game, because it looks somehow great if you are playing a game and you have another interface, or you have another avatar, or you have another dimension today. You understand? I don't know the relationship between the NFT and with respect to the game flexibility and the game sustainability. I have a lot of questions. Actually, probably I would join to the Telegram group, because the pre-sale stuff, like the parcel of the game, you're having like 33, 60 pixel. You're having some parcel there, whereas the parcel will be very good on mobile. I don't know, and on your platform you don't have mobile stuff like that. There's no stuff like that you're gonna migrate to mobile game, and you're having a parcel dimension which should be very very great on mobile phone. So stuff like that. So I would love you to answer this one. Probably I will jump to the community to ask the rest of my question. Thank you for the opportunity, brother.
Well, thank you for the awesome questions. I'm going to respond in the shortest paragraph I possibly can because you had some good questions. So, first one, challenges for the project. I would say the blaring one because, pretty obvious. What about copyright? We opened with that, in fact, because that was the only real concern that came to mind for me. Man, Disney's ruthless. They would take this down in a heartbeat if it blew up. Well, it is a challenge, but it's one in which they're very, very ready to take on that challenge because they have their own unique, their own like voice coming out through their NFTs. Is it inspired? Sure, but that's fine. It doesn't specifically say Lightning McQueen. It doesn't specifically say, the Cars emblem or anything like that. It doesn't say Disney on it. None of their NFTs have that. So they're totally in the clear there. We talked about strategies at the top of the hour where we were speaking about how they're going to have that come more alive and have the actual marketing be focused in that way, using their NFTs as their main marketing means to be able to have pictures, to be able to have representation, banners, all that. So it is a challenge, but it's one in which they've already taken all the steps to be able to make sure that they can make that pivot. Going into the Telegram itself, no, there wasn't any type of airdrop. There was community giveaways and retweet type of things. Those do bring, bots, of course, right? It's very, very, very hard to not have those when you have giveaways, especially when you have money being put into giveaways, because there's specific channels that all that they do is look for giveaways, and they'll notify 10 other armies of giveaway searchers, and they'll all join, even though you didn't want to even target those people. So does it build community awareness? Yes. Does it come at the detriment of potentially having some bots? Yes. What I can say, though, is there is a pretty active amount of people. They have some great mods, some great team, of course, but also some active people wondering like, hey, this looks cool. I'm interested. I'm excited. Like, let's see what happens. And also there's a growing sentiment in that community of we're excited to see what comes tomorrow. We're excited to see what this MVP type, alpha looks like. And I think that's some good excitement to have. That's warranted, because when you can actually show something off and not have it just be words that I'm saying, when you can actually put it to the test and try it yourself, that's very powerful, and it's very easy to also market around. Going into your last question, hopefully I covered everything, but I believe the last question was focused around, okay, well, cool, we have NFTs that mesh, but is it just visual? Is it just now my car has a tongue and has a money sign on it? That's cool. It's fun, right? whatever, but what is the actual utility? Can I level this up? What is it, right? Well, if you own these NFTs, they're going to give you access to custom fonts, to custom perks based on their rarity. And those perks come in the form of kind of what we spoke about being analogous to maybe a Mario Kart-like experience where my character has base traits that help them and give them a slight edge if you know how to use that character. Because you can have someone that's very nimble, like we used the example of in Mario Kart Toad, who's very agile, fast, lightweight. But if he gets hit hard by Bowser, he's going flying. He's gonna have a bad time. But also Bowser's very slow. So you have to know how to play the game. So there's gonna be some legendaries that are really, really awesome. They have good speed. They have good like resistance to effects, things like that. But they're gonna be really hard to find. They're gonna be probably pretty expensive when people are trading them. So they will give you an advantage. But here's the cool thing: is that you can own none of the NFTs. You don't have to own anything. You can own no NFTs, put $50 in MetaCar token, right? And then from there, still get access, and you'll be given a default car that you can race with. And you can still win that $500 jackpot that's only going up every single week by 10%. And then eventually they're going to make it a month and then a year with an even bigger jackpot. So hopefully that answered your questions. I know that was a little long form. It was the last question, so I wanted to go a little bit more in depth. But seriously, thank you. And I also appreciate you joining the Telegram as well to get even more expanded answers on those questions. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for asking much questions because when I see a project I love like this, I would love to know more about the project, stuff like that. So that's why.
No, not a problem.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you,
Of
Alex.
course,
thank
man.
you, brother. Best of luck, brother. See you tomorrow. We're gonna
Cheers,
join
bro.
the process. Yeah, thank you.
As always, thanks a lot for the intensive and in detail questions. I will say, Jabenga, much appreciated. That's gonna definitely be our last question for right now. But as Adam said, and I'm sure he wanted to remind you guys, if you have questions that we didn't get to answer, there are so many in the chat right now. You can all understand, and you know how it goes with projects that have a lot of utility to offer a great concept. We tend to try and cover as much as possible, but if not, join their Telegram. They're actually listed, the Telegram, the website, pretty much all the details in regards to MetaCars is listed actually right now in our chat in the Telegram group. It's actually pinned, if I'm not mistaken. What else can I say as an ending statement before I give you the floor, Adam, is that I love the project. I love the fact that you guys are defined on Ethereum. I love that you have unique perks that I can visualize right now, at least in my mind, for the NFTs. The concept is great. Yes, at the moment, I will be honest with everybody, there are over 1,700 different active blockchain games on various blockchains, not just on BSC. The thing is, from those 1,700 games, we can probably name 10%, and I think that's a lot. Out of those, given the fact that the market conditions are not ideal, honestly, I don't think 80% have, and I'm being generous here, 80% have what it takes to survive. So given the fact that none of them, most of them, let's say, don't have utility, MetaCars, I think, brings it to the table. I think they have what it takes. They have experienced team, and I'm sure that they will get advisors. They will pretty much get everything that is needed to succeed. So that's basically my thought, my 2 cents in regards to the project. Thanks for the opportunity, Adam. It was a pleasure hosting you guys as well. As always, actually, pleasure talking to you. You have the floor to make your ending statement.
Well, Alex, I don't know if I could ask for a better close, but I will try just by saying my appreciation for everyone in this community. Thank you for listening in more than an hour or so. We're at hour 14 minutes now from start. Thank you so much for listening about this. If any of this excited you, please join the official MetaCars Telegram. Don't invest anything until you feel just as excited because you've done your own research. You understand the tokenomics, the distribution, everything we talked about. always do your own research, but just know that this team is very, very excited to bring not only a successful pre-sale on Pink Sale, again, this is an Ethereum-based project, but also to bring continued excitement even after the fact with a lot of marketing and a lot of examples of how the actual gameplay works and videos of that and trial as well. So with that, thank you so much.
Definitely. I speak for the entire Phoenix Holdings community, for the people that joined, and for the people that didn't have the chance to join. When saying that we appreciate you, Adam, and appreciate the team as well. Thanks for the time. Yeah, we'll definitely wrap things up. Thanks to everybody who joined us and pretty much bared with us here for over an hour, as Adam said. It's definitely always a privilege to get such wonderful projects. So yeah, thanks for the time, Adam. Best of luck to the team. Congratulate them from my side and from my point of view because they did a wonderful job. And I'm looking forward to the pre-sale itself. I'll definitely make sure to be a part of it because Ethereum brings the best in me at least. So yeah, definitely.
I
Thanks.
love it. Cheers. We'll see everyone tomorrow then. Thank y'all.
Definitely. Thanks a lot. You guys have a happy day, happy night, and a wonderful pre-sale as well. Best of luck to you guys.
Cheers. You as well. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye to everyone